Hi, friends. Welcome back to Sorta Awesome. I'm your host, Meg Teets. I am so excited, you guys, to welcome today's guest, whom you probably already know online. Ms. Bri McKoy is joining us today. She's the author of Come and Eat and also the brand new release, The Cook's Book. And she also is the creator of an amazing Everyday Kitchen Masterclass, a 5-week online course that teaches people how to become more confident as home cooks. Bri, welcome to Sorta Awesome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Meg. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so thrilled to have you here and to talk all about your brand new book, which we were just talking about. And you guys, I brought it here as a prop so we can look at it. It's so beautiful, as most cookbooks are. But Bri, the level of like comprehensiveness of teaching that this book is, like, how did you fit it all in one book? I do not know. But here's what I would love to start with. You kind of you maybe introduce yourself and people might know you online as an accidental home cook. So I would love to hear briefly before we get into the show, like, how did you go from being like somebody who did not consider herself a cook to writing a gorgeous book like this and teaching so many people how to cook?
It is wild. I did not see that on my bingo card at 26.
Yes.
I just did not enjoy cooking, or really, I didn't cook. I just didn't cook. It seemed ridiculous. I was like, that's so much time and mess and like all of the things. I was like, when we've got such great takeout like near us. And so I just was like, I'm just going to eat takeout all the time. And then I didn't have enough money to do that, is what happened.
It gets expensive. It does.
It gets a little pricey. I was like, wow, I see my future and it looks bad. I'm going to be living out in like takeout boxes, like assembling my home. That's where we're headed. And so I decided, you know what, I need to learn. Well, and I was newly married and my husband and he was like, how about we learn to cook? And I was like, that's the worst thing you've ever said to me. Prenup.
Oh, no.
It's like annulment. No.
Yes.
But we did. We decided to learn to cook, and I cooked my way through a cookbook and really started to. One day I was just cooking and I was like, I love this, and it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, wait, what was that? And I just was like, I love this, and I wanted to learn more. I wanted to know about all different kinds of foods. Now I'm like so obsessed with food and wine pairing. And so it just became this love that then turned into a passion for teaching.
Yes. Okay. I love that. And I am so thankful that you were able to distill everything that you've learned, and especially coming at it from the perspective of somebody who wasn't just like naturally always into cooking, that you kind of taught yourself. And now that gives you such a great starting point for teaching other people when you learned this yourself along the way. So you guys, we are going to be talking all things cooking and kitchen and the love of cooking and how you can even develop that, even if it's not something that you're super into, how you can find joy in the kitchen. We're going to have all of that with Bri McKoy coming up today on Sorta Awesome. Welcome back, Awesomes. I am so thankful that you are here. If you have been looking for a community that is here to support you, no matter what age or stage of life you are in, I'm so thrilled to tell you that you have come to the right place. In fact, we would love to have you join us, not just here in the podcast app where you're listening to Sorta Awesome, but come and find us on social media in one of our social media gathering places. We are on Instagram, where you can add a little bit more awesome to your Instagram feed at Sorta Awesome Show over there, or come and find us in the Sorta Awesome Hangout group on Facebook. We have thousands of women who show up every day to support each other through the ups and downs of life, problem solving, troubleshooting, giving advice, getting recommendations. It's very, very supportive, and we're there 24/7 for you. So again, we're on Facebook at the Sorta Awesome Hangout for you guys. Bri, one of the things that we do talk about a lot in the Hangout with our awesome community is the topic of like, what's for dinner? What recipes are you loving? Looking for cooking and meal planning and kitchen inspiration. So I know that people are going to be So thrilled to hear what you have to say today. Before we get into all of that, let's go ahead and start this show the way we always do with our Awesomes of the Week. Awesome of the Week is the moment in the show where we stop and talk about whatever is making life a little bit more awesome right now. It could be a book or a TV show, a movie, a podcast, a product, a recipe, something that's bringing a little extra gold sparkle to our days. So, Bri, I can't wait to hear what you brought for your Awesome of the Week.
Oh, yes. I brought something that I've been craving a lot, and it is I call them tipsy braised short ribs because they cook in a whole bottle of
Ooh,
wine.
nice. Okay. Tell
I'm
me
like,
everything.
these short ribs are happy, they are tipsy. They're so rich and
Yeah.
decadent. And I think because we're kind of coming to the end of summer, I am just starting to, like, my body knows when to start craving those really like
Oh, yeah.
decadent, rich, cozy meals. And I just feel like I
Perfect.
wake up every morning the past few days and be like, I want tipsy braised short ribs with creamy mashed potatoes right now.
Oh gosh, that sounds amazing. Yes, it is the season for breaking out the comfort food for sure.
Yes. Yes. The weather
Yeah.
might not agree with it, but my body
Yeah,
is like, it's time.
absolutely. Yes, and we listen to our bodies around here. So tell us everything
Exactly.
we need to know about this recipe.
Oh my goodness. It is actually pretty simple. I think if you look at the ingredients, it might feel intimidating or even the time to cook. I know as a new cook, I was like, whoa, but it's really simple. You just take short bone in short ribs and you sear them a little bit. And then you
Okay.
throw all the ingredients in, like the wine, the tomato paste, a lot of seasonings. And then you put it in your Dutch oven, you put it in the oven for a few hours and just forget about it. And your whole
Oh,
house will smell so good.
oh
It's
yeah, I bet.
it's so good. And it's a great dish, I think, for entertaining because you, again, like you can make it ahead of time. And then by the time people are coming
Yes.
over, they're like, what is this smell? And all you have to do is like pull
Yeah.
it out of the oven and they are good to go. You can serve them right out of the Dutch oven and they fall
Yes.
off the bone. They're like juicy, they're tender, they're delicious.
Okay. Okay, is this recipe in the book?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, lucky for me, I'm gonna be looking that up. That sounds so good. And also, short ribs are one of those things that I kind of never know what exactly we're supposed to be doing with them. I see them like at Costco
Yeah.
in the meat cases all the time, and I just sort of pass on by because it feels a little intimidating. I don't know exactly what to do, but you're making this sound
Yes.
extremely approachable and very easy.
Very approachable and very delicious.
Awesome. And did you say you do like a little creamy mashed potato on the side?
Yes. Oh yeah, I do some like mashed potatoes. I like to put the braised short ribs on top of them because some of the sauce that the short ribs were cooking in.
Mm,
But those mashed potatoes have so
yes.
much butter and also a lot of cream cheese.
Oh,
Or
good.
I do either
Yes.
cream cheese or mascarpone cheese. It makes them
Oh
so
my
creamy.
gosh. What? I've never even heard of doing a mascarpone in your potatoes.
So good.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to check this out because truly, I mean, it's still like hot here in Oklahoma. I'm sure it's
Oh,
probably still very warm where you are. But
yes.
yeah, it's the like we're fully in fall. So it is time
Yes.
to start getting out those hearty comfort food meals for sure.
It
So
is. And that's good to know. I haven't been to Costco in a while, but you can get short ribs at Costco. I didn't even think about that.
yes, yes. Much more, I think, much more reasonably priced
Oh,
than
yeah.
at the grocery store. Plus, we have a huge family, so we buy a lot of our meat
Yes.
and stuff there because it goes quickly around here. So, yeah,
It's a great tip.
good Costco tip. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that recipe and that fall cooking inspiration.
Thanks.
Seriously going to have to check that out. My awesome of the week this week is an app.
Ooh.
Bri, one thing that is true about me is I am obsessed with the sky.
Really? I love that. Like
I
the actual sky.
I the actual just the sky above us. I am obsessed. I like taking pictures of clouds and just like stargazing. And I don't know. I absolutely love all things just kind of like planetary. But I've never like took an astronomy class or anything like that. Like I'm just kind of like to gaze and appreciate, but I don't really know what I'm looking at.
Like, that's pretty. I
In
feel
the woods.
that.
Yes, like I can find Orion. Okay. But
Yes.
after that, I'm a little limited. And so I have to tell you about this app that I have been loving. You maybe have heard of it. It's called the Star Walk app, like Star Walk. I just found it recently and I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a great new app. No, it's not new. Bri, I was reading about it to get ready for the show. It's been around since 2010.
I love when that happens. I love when I'm like, I discovered this. And then I share it and everyone's like, I've had that since 1983. And I'm like, oh dear.
It's so true. That happens to me so much. I'll be like, have you guys heard of this thing? And it's been out for a long time. I
Yeah.
genuinely, this app though, this app is so good. I genuinely thought it was like a new release, but I was reading like it won like an Apple App Award in 2010. So I was
Oh,
like, okay,
wow.
it's been good for a long time. But
My
this
goodness.
app is so cool. It's free. There is a paid version, like if you want some more features to it, but just the free version is so great. So what you do, I brought my phone as a prop, even though just to show you, you hold up, so you put the app on your phone. And once you open it, you can hold up your phone and wherever you point your phone's camera, it shows you through the magic of like AI and all kinds of stuff I don't understand. It shows you and tells you what stars you're looking at. Or if you're like, oh, that's a really bright star. No, it's a planet, like it shows you, and everything is labeled. And
Oh my
next
gosh.
to everything that you're looking at, whether it's a planet, a constellation, a star, you can like tap on it and it will give you all this information about that thing that you're looking at. Isn't
Wait, that
that
is so
wild?
cool. That is so cool.
Yes. I
I love
am
that.
I'm like, how is this app free? Like how?
That's
It's
amazing.
so good. There's so many features. I personally I like to keep it kind of surface level. Like I just like to look and see like what are we looking at? What has been moving across the sky. Like it's just, I like that. But if you get the paid version, again, you can go like on a total deep dive. They even have like a sort of time machine feature where you can go back and see what the stars looked like in the sky on a certain date,
That
which
is so
is
cool.
wild. Yes. There's a
What?
feature where they have like space pictures, like they have a picture of the day section where you can look at just pictures from satellites and whatever from space. Um
Wow.
it just is, if you just like are a sky nerd like I am, it is so cool. And it's fun to do with your kids too, because like you can just go out, especially now that the days are getting shorter and it's
Yes.
dark earlier and earlier. You can go out with your kids and like go on a little
Oh,
walk and just see what all the things are above you in the sky.
I love that. That is
Yeah,
so fun. They packed a lot into that app.
they have so much in there, and that's why I'm just like, how is this even all in one app?
Yeah.
But it's very,
Wow.
very cool. So yeah,
That
so
is
again,
awesome.
it's called the Star Walk app. It's in the App Store. I do not know if they have it for Android. You guys will have to check and see and let me know. But I do know for sure you can put it on your iPhone. So yeah, so
I
fun.
love
Thank you
that.
for letting me completely geek out about
That's so cool. I learned
my
something
love
new
for this
today.
thing. Yes,
I'm going to download it
so
and check
fun.
it out.
Okay, good, good, good. You'll have to let me know if you are enjoying it as much as I am,
Okay.
for sure.
Oh, yes.
So those are awesomes of the week for Bri and myself. We'll have links in the show notes for you guys to check those things out. And of course, we want to hear what is awesome in your life right now. So again, come find us on social media, Sorta Awesome Show on Instagram, or in the Hangout every single Friday in the Sorta Awesome Hangout. We ask, what's awesome in your life? What's your awesome of the week? And I always love reading through that to see what discoveries I'm missing out on. I always find something new.
So
So
fun.
yeah. All right. Bri and I are going to be talking all things food, cooking, like becoming more confident in the kitchen, finding joy in your cooking. We have so much to talk about, and we're going to get to all of that when we come right back. Okay, we are back, and today we are talking to Bri McKoy about her brand new book, The Cook's Book. And Bri, when I got this copy, which thank you so much for sending to me, I have been loving it so much. It made me like go back in time myself to when I was a brand new newlywed. I did not grow up knowing how to cook. We did a lot of convenience foods, a lot of hamburger helper, fish sticks, those kinds of things. So I didn't know how I could follow package directions, but I didn't know how to like cook. So when I was a newlywed back in the very late 90s going into the 2000s, I would get the Taste of Home cookbooks. They're like compilation books for every year. And I would for me, they were very simple recipes and I could follow those recipes. But what I still didn't understand like the principles of cooking, like how and why you use, for example, this utensil for this, or have this as a pan, like this is what you need for cooking, these pans, these pots, and why and when you use them. I feel like I missed out on all of that. And so when I was reading this book, I was like, oh my gosh, what a gift this would be, not just for somebody who loves cooking, because it is absolutely, but for somebody who's starting out in life, whether they are a newlywed or a new graduate, or maybe starting over in life for whatever reason. This would be literally, this sounds so stupid to say, but this would be the gift that keeps on giving, because there's just so much practical in here and so approachable. And your joy and your love for cooking just comes through so much on every page. I just want to tell you, just did such a great job with this.
That is so encouraging. That was for sure my hope and dream while writing the book.
Good. Well, you did it. You nailed it. It's so beautiful. I love it. I would love to hear your perspective. Again, I think that the thing that I appreciate about your approach to cooking and to the kitchen so much is that you were not a person who just, by nature, or you didn't grow up in a house where this you just learned it as you were growing up. How can people who are, for whatever reason, maybe they might consider themselves like a reluctant cook, or maybe they used to love to cook until they were like cooking for kids all the time who complain about every single thing, and you got picky eaters. I know that you've been working with cooks at all different stages of, knowing how to cook and what to do in the kitchen. So I'm sure you've learned a lot along the way. How can those of us who maybe are a little bit more reluctant in the kitchen, where do you find inspiration? What do you tell people if they're like, oh, cooking's such a drag? Like, kind of what is your perspective on how we can find joy and find the awesome in that?
Yes. Well, I think the first thing is the way that I wrote this book, and you nailed it so well. I'm so glad it came through, is I really wanted it to be an experience. I wanted someone to be able to pick it up and be like, this is like a fun experience. This isn't just a cookbook where I am, going through the motions, cooking the recipe. And I think for me, when I was learning to cook and I was like, I think this is so ridiculous and, at times suck and, everything's dirty now.
Yes.
I hate everything. And I was just cooking for me and my husband. I was like, this is the worst. I think I started to be like, but how can I like make this more of an experience and less of a chore? And so it was, learning little tips. Like, I want to learn a little bit more about salt, or I want to learn a little bit more about, my pan. I kind of gave things personalities in my kitchen. Like, my pan is a girl, and she's like doing it. Like, I just started to like make things come alive so that it didn't feel as much as like, I'm just kind of doing the steps. I'm buying the groceries. I'm meal planning. It's like a whole world inside my kitchen and a whole experience every time I step in. And so I think part of it was one of the first things, maybe like making it more of an experience, or looking at it as more of like an experience, or maybe you want to learn something a little bit more. or, even doing something as simple as, like I would put salt on a tomato and like eat the tomato before I like prepped it for everything else. Just be like, let me learn a little,
Yeah.
like, what does a tomato taste like without the salt? What does it taste like with the salt? Something as simple as that. It didn't have to be like I'm taking a whole knife skills course right now.
Right, right, right.
Just like
Yes.
honing my skill a little bit through the act of experience. And it just, my joy
Yes.
absolutely came alive through that. And that's really what I tried to put in the book. I think the other
Yeah.
thing that brings a lot of joy is naming what you want your kitchen to be for you. I think,
Okay.
especially if you grew up like Food TV Network or Martha Stewart, like I always was like, my kitchen has to be this very well oiled run machine. I have to have the
Mm.
cloth napkins out. I have to have the, 4-course meal. And I was really trying to achieve that dream. And it was stressing me out. It was killing my joy. I was like, I don't like this, but Martha loves it. Martha loves it. And that
Yeah.
was like, she
Yeah.
set that precedent for her kitchen. And I was like,
Mhm.
well, I'm going to set the precedent for my kitchen. And so I think like just naming what you want for your kitchen. And for my kitchen, I wanted joy and confidence, and I wanted high energy. Like I was like, I want high energy
Okay.
here. And so I'm playing music. I'm like, how do I achieve that? I'm going to play music. I'm going to like get a really fun, bright apron. I'm going to like invite people into the kitchen while I cook. But then I know other people,
Yeah.
I've talked to other people that were like, I want my kitchen to be a place of like calm and kind of
Okay.
like my break from the world. So they like close their kitchen
Mm.
off. They're like,
Yes.
people aren't allowed to come into the kitchen. I'm going to light some
Yes.
candles. Maybe I'm going to listen to some calm
Okay.
music. And so I think just finding like let go of everything that anyone's told you about what your kitchen has to be and name it for yourself.
Yes. Oh, that's so smart. And I really love that idea of the experience part of it. I think so often things that we feel like, we have to do or it's our responsibility that, just changing the perspective on it can make a huge difference. And so thinking of cooking each meal as getting to experience the process, I think that the shift in mindset can really, yeah, open up a different perspective. And you might even be surprised by what joyful things that you find in there. So,
Exactly. Exactly. I think it
yeah.
is all about just choosing to like notice even little things, which I think is true for our lives, period. Like when we start to notice the clouds, or we start to know, it's like, oh, there's a little bit more joy now.
Yes, yes. I'm so curious. You obviously spend a lot of time in your kitchen and are, not only thinking about the cooking that you're doing right now, but I'm sure you're, as somebody who now teaches and has been teaching people how to cook, you're in there a lot. What are some things right now that are just bringing joy to you in this season that you're just like, oh, I just, oh, this makes me so happy when I'm in here. I would love to hear more
Oh,
about that.
right now, I would say it's the farmer's market. Like we have this
Oh,
really
yeah.
fun farmer's market we just moved here, and everybody is telling us you got to go to this farmer's market. And I love a good farmer's market. And I will kind of
Yes.
restrain myself, which actually brings more creativity. I think there is
Mm.
a misconception. For me, I always thought more options, more possibilities, more creativity. And I
Mhm,
thought that
mhm.
way for the kitchen, like give me all the cooking skills, give me all the
Right.
ingredients, all the spices. And I realized if I limit myself, that actually breeds more creativity. And that happens through the
Right.
farmer's market because I will only, I'm only getting the vegetables that are in season right now, or I'm only getting the meat that I
Yes.
can find at the farmer's market. And then I bring
Mhm.
it back home, and like I get so excited. Like, what do the tomatoes taste like this year? What does the cucumbers taste
Yes.
like this year? And then like, how can I pull a really delicious meal together that kind of honors the season that we're in?
Oh, wow. I love that. I love seasonal cooking. Again, I did not grow up that way. I came from very, my parents were baby boomers and just were not
Yes.
like the thing of putting together a meal, especially at the end of the day, it was not an experience. It was like there's just a lot of kids here, let's get everybody fed.
Yep.
And so I did not grow up with an idea of like we could cook seasonally.
Yeah.
And so as an adult kind of discovering, like you said, just when the produce is so fresh and the things that kind of, even going back to your awesome of the week with the braised short ribs, like what are our bodies sort of instinctively telling us based on the
Yeah.
season of the year that we're in? That is so joyful too, I think, to follow that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love when my body is like, is it soup season? And I'm like, oh my gosh, is it soup season?
Yes.
I'm like, it's soup season.
Yes. We're here. We made it. We're back to soup season.
Exactly.
Yeah. So much joy to be found in that. And I love what you said too. I think sometimes we do think that, we do need to like go to Costco or the local grocery and just like load up on all of this stuff. And then it does become, again, I think especially for people who are not naturally geared towards cooking or being creative in the kitchen, then it's like you do have too many choices. And it's like, okay, I don't even know. I've got all of this stuff. Like, where do I even start? I love what you're
Yeah.
saying about the sort of simplicity of kind of embracing limitations,
Yes. Yes.
So,
I didn't used to love it, but Jeremy, he was like, what if we like, because we were in a situation where I felt like there was a lot of food waste. Part of that was
yeah.
like being a, recipe developer. So I was constantly
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
recipe. And then it was like, there was so much food waste and we were not very happy about it. And Jeremy was like, what if like we don't go to the grocery store this week? And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
no. Like, I need potatoes, DoorDash. I'm out of
Yes.
cumin, DoorDash. Like, if I'm
Yes.
out of it, I was just so quick to be like, or I'd walk to
Yeah.
our grocery store and I was like, that sounds, again, like an awful idea. And for some reason, I think Jeremy doesn't have good ideas and then look at them. And I loved that. So I do that now. I do that more often where I'll be like, we're cooking what we have. Cause I loved that week. I realized like, oh, I have this whole jar of marinade I haven't used before. Or, oh my gosh, I have all these freezer
Yes.
meals that I need to like go through.
Yeah.
And we
And
didn't
actually use
starve.
them. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
We like cleaned out our pantry and fridge and I just was like, I got creative with some of the meals and I was like, that was fun.
Yeah. And you know what? Speaking of seasonally, I think that's actually a great thing to do at the turn of the season. Here we
Yes.
are coming to the end of the summer season, especially in terms of, like you said, the farmers market produce, those types of things. And so I think this is like a good time. These turns of the season are a good time to use up what you've got, what you've been storing or putting to the side or just like whatever, go through all of that to make room for the new season ahead.
I
So,
love that actually. That's
well, I
very
just,
smart. Yeah. Do
yeah,
it now. Yeah.
do it now. This
Do
is
it
the
now.
perfect time for that.
It's so good.
Uh, so good. Okay. Well, speaking of soup season, you have a lot to say in the cook's book about soups. And I know you have brought not just one, but two soups for the awesomes. And so we are going to get to those soup recipes and soup inspiration when we come right back. All right, we are back. And this week we are talking to Bri McKoy. She is the author of the brand new book, The Cook's Book. I keep showing it. It's so pretty, you guys. Like we'll put some pictures on social media for sure. Bri, the photography is so pretty. Like you just open any page and there's like these recipes that you're like, okay, can you teach me how to make this, Bri? Okay, let's do it. So much fresh inspiration. And there is a whole bunch in here about soup. You have a lot to say about soup. Are you a big soup person? Just by nature, you love a soup?
I love soup now. I did not used to
Okay.
love soup. I used to be
Okay.
very like, I want a 3-course, like I want a meat and a vegetable and
Yes.
and soup was like, that's a cop out. Soup is a cop out.
Yeah. It's a cheat.
Yeah, I'm like, this
Yes.
is cheating. But then I
Yeah.
learned like the art of kind of layering soup and like adding stuff to soup and just making it a little bit more magical. And now and soup the next day and how long it lasts. Like I'm a soup fanatic.
Yes. Okay. Well, it totally comes through in the book. You have so much enthusiasm for soups and so many great recipes for soups in there. Some that I was like, oh, I didn't even know that could be a soup. You have brought, like I said before the break, not just one, but two soups for the awesomes that are good, like weeknight soups. Sometimes I think soups, we think, oh, it's going to take a long time to put together. I'm going to save it for when it's like a fancier thing. But you're like, hey, how about on a weeknight, put together a soup? And now that we're getting into soup season, you've got some ideas for us. So tell us about the first soup.
The first soup is my lemony chicken and potato soup. And
Okay,
that
yeah.
one, I love that one for the beginning of going into cold season because it still has a little brightness. Like the lemon just
Right.
adds like just that touch of brightness. So if you're not really there yet, if you're still in the very hot heat, but you want to like
Mm-hmm.
wade into soup waters, I feel like this
Yes.
one is like, it's still so good, but it has that brightness to it. It's not super thick. It's not super heavy. It's so delicious. It went low key viral when I posted it. And a lot of people actually who don't like soup I turned them to soup because of this soup.
Okay. So
Yes.
great. I love that. So what all are we putting into this?
We're putting in chicken. And another great note about that is that it can be done in the Instant Pot. So a lot of people who have an Instant
Okay.
Pot or crock pot, they love it because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I just can throw everything in there, but it's chicken, it's
Yeah.
stock, it's potatoes. You can do any potato. Sometimes I do red potatoes. Sometimes I do little butter potatoes. And then you kind of like let some seasonings and spices, you let all that cook. And then once it's cooked, you're going to add in a little bit of cream. So it gives like a little bit of
Okay.
creaminess to it and a little bit of lemon
Yeah.
juice. And that lemon juice just like, it's not
Okay.
overpowering. A lot of people who have told me like, I don't like lemon, they love this soup because they're like, oh, it's just like a whisper of lemon. It's like I'm
Yes.
just and I don't even think you would clock it as lemon if you didn't know. I think you would just be like, there's some brightness in this soup. And then you put
Okay.
in some like really delicious parm cheese,
Oh,
shaved Parmesan
yum.
cheese, and then a baguette.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about with soup. I'm like, you
Perfect.
can make soup a 3-course meal. We're adding stuff to it. We're throwing a baguette on the
Yes.
side, maybe a side salad.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. That would be so great. Perfect for fall, like you said.
Yes.
And I love the potatoes in there too for that little boost of just like going to keep you full just a little bit longer.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. I was like, I need a potato because it makes
yeah.
you feel much more full and it's just
Yeah.
makes it a little bit on the hearty side.
Yeah. Yeah, but the flavors still are not like completely like dead of winter kind of hearty. So, yeah, I
Right.
love that. That sounds
Yes.
so good. My stomach is actually rumbling right now. Like, how
I
quickly
know.
can
I'm
I
like,
make
oh,
this? That sounds so
it's
good.
lunchtime.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so that was the creamy lemon chicken potato soup. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Creamy lemon and
Okay.
potato chicken
Awesome.
soup.
So good. Tell us about the other one that you brought for us to be inspired by this soup season.
The next one is a little bit of a wild card. And if anyone knows me, they will know this as pumpkin chili. But in the
Okay.
book, it's called harvest chili. And the reason it's called
Harvest. Okay.
harvest chili is because people would see the pumpkin in the title and be like,
Yeah.
no. I think it's also
Oh.
because people, or at least I would think pumpkin spice latte, pumpkin bread. Like I'm thinking sweet.
Oh.
And so a lot
Right,
of
right, right, right.
people were always asking me, how sweet is this? And I'm like, it's zero sweet. It's 0% sweet. It
0%.
is
Yes.
0% sweet. I love savory. I much more tend towards savory. And so I wanted to
Yeah.
enjoy pumpkin season just like everybody else was, but without like, the pumpkin spice latte was too sweet or the pumpkin bread or whatever it was.
Right.
And
Right.
canned
Okay.
pumpkin, unsweetened canned pumpkin is not sweet at all. And what it does
No.
to the chili is it just gives it a creaminess. Like it gives it this like
Okay.
really creamy texture, but also kind of like thickens the soup. And another thing about
Yeah.
this chili is that it uses ground turkey and chicken
Oh, good.
sausage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who are like, I can't do red meat. They love this chili.
Mm.
And there's also no
Yes.
tomatoes in it. So people who have nightshades or they can't have tomatoes,
Yet.
they're like, finally a
Mm-hmm.
chili I can eat because this does not we rely on the pumpkin. We don't need to be adding like any canned tomatoes, anything like that. There you
Oh,
are. Did you
okay, it
freeze?
froze up for just a second. No, I heard you. The last thing that I heard you saying was that people who can't have tomatoes love this chili. So,
Yes. Perfect.
yeah. Well, that is so good. My husband is one of those people, like he cannot eat tomatoes hardly at all. And
Yeah.
it's such a shame because he does love chili, but so many chilies have tomatoes in them. I mean, it's sort of like one of
Oh,
the
main
foundational
ingredient.
parts
Yeah.
of chili. So I'm definitely going to check this out for us. And like you said, like with the ground turkey, the ground chicken in there, it's kind of almost like a lighter spin on it, but you still get the heartiness and like you said, the
Yeah.
creaminess with
Oh,
the
yeah.
pumpkin.
Yes. And you get to add pumpkin beer. So
Oh, okay.
that's
All
optional.
right. Now we're
There is
talking.
if you don't use the pumpkin beer, you can use chicken stock. But that was another way that I was like, let's like go full on fall, full on pumpkin. And so you deglaze with
Yes.
some pumpkin beer, not the whole thing. So if you have leftover pumpkin beer,
Little sip, little sip
a
for the
little
cook.
sip. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness, that sounds so good. And again, I think that's such a great transitional thing to make as we're leaving summer behind. And I love the name even harvest, kind of get people in that harvest mood. So, and I think that would be one that kids would love too. Actually, both of these.
Yeah,
You know, even more reluctant soup eaters, these sound really like approachable even for kids or pickier eaters. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yes.
so
I've had
good.
some people
So
tell me, yeah, like their kids won't eat chili, but they'll eat harvest chili. Or apparently this chili has won a lot of
okay.
competitions that I've not been at. But people
Oh,
tell me, I took
okay.
your chili to the chili cook-off and I won. Or like I to the church
That's
cook-off or to the
awesome.
like neighborhood cook-off. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this chili is winning a lot of awards. Someone send me some
We should
badges.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Now you'll have to call it the award-winning harvest chili.
Ooh, exactly. Oh my gosh, I love that.
That is so fun. So pro tip, you guys, take Bree's harvest chili to your next cook-off. Probably gonna win.
Yes. Probably
So
do.
fun. Okay, so the book is the cook's book. And where's a good place to find it? Where's the best place to find it? Is it in all of the book places?
The Cook's Book, it recently came out, but it is going through its second print run right now. So at this time, the
Oh,
only place I know, it was exciting news and it was also a little overwhelming because the only place you can get the Cook's Book right now is Amazon. Every place has
okay.
every every place did have it. They do not
Yeah,
have it
but you
anymore.
sold them out.
Yes. So
That's
it used
so
to be like
great.
Target online, Walmart online, Barnes and
Yeah.
Noble. We are trying to get them into a lot of our independent bookstores across the country,
Yes.
but
Okay.
right now it's Amazon. But hopefully coming
Okay.
to a bookstore near you when they reprint.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, Amazon makes it easy for sure, but definitely you guys go into your local independent bookstore. We have a couple of really great ones here in Oklahoma City. I'm sure you have one close to you wherever you are, and go in and talk to them about getting Bree's cookbook on the shelves and then see if they can even keep it on the shelves because it
Yes.
sounds like it'll be gone too. Genuinely, I know we keep talking about like the seasonality of it all, but you guys, this would be a great gift. Again, could be a great gift for the established cook in your life, but even better for the person in your life who's maybe starting out on their cooking journey. It is so beautiful. And I know I keep saying this, but Bri, like you explain how and why things work in the kitchen, both technique wise, but also like teaching people how you don't even have to be bound to a recipe. Like once you understand these foundational things about cooking, you can look at what you have in your kitchen and come up with stuff on your own, be your own recipe
Exactly.
developer. And I just think
Exactly.
that's so I think that it doesn't sound like it, but this is just like such a creative guide. I feel like you've done such a great job of inspiring creativity with this. So you just did
Thank you
such a
so
good job.
much. Thank you so
So
much.
fun.
I so appreciate that.
Yeah. Very good. Very good work. So keep it in your mind, you guys, for upcoming gift giving in the holidays. I think this would be a great gift. And maybe it'll be back in stock wherever you shop for books by then.
Please, please. That would be great.
Okay. Well, Brie, I know you have such a loyal and enthusiastic following online. So again, I'm sure lots of our awesomes already do follow you on social media. But if they don't and they want to find out more about you and what you have going on in your kitchen and your projects, where is the best place to find you all around the web?
The best place is Instagram. That's where I'm hanging out the most. And it's just at Bri McKoy, although McKoy is spelled McKoy. Very tricky.
Yes, very
Very
tricky.
tricky. BRIMCKOY. And that's where I'm popping in and I'm sharing stuff about the Everyday Kitchen Masterclass coming up and the book, everything. It's a fun, delicious time over there.
Yes. Yes. If you guys are looking for inspiration on the daily, go follow Bree. She will get you hooked up no matter what you're in the mood for sure. If you want to find me on social media, you can find me at Sorta Awesome Meg. You can find Sorta Awesome by searching Sorta Awesome, whatever platform you're on, you will find us there. And again, you guys come find us in the Hangout group because you know we are going to be showing up for you every day there as well. So Bree, thank you so much for taking the time to come and get us all inspired about cooking. And this has been so fun. Thanks so much for making time for us.
Of course, this was fun. Thank you so much, Meg.
Awesome. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see y'all next time.